There is something about that is very strange about going to conferences. It often feels like, why do, in spite of going to conferences, they don't result in lots of business and jobs and results for the people? Not as much as they should. There is some that happens, but not with the frequency and the intensity at which, if huge number of people are meeting with each other, they should end up with a whole new economy out of that interaction. But most interactions, they do not result in a successful engagement. And is it just a matter of properly following up or properly following the discipline of follow-ups and so on and so forth, which is great, or setting up meetings during the conference, and which is a valid advice for the mood of the people in which they show up, the mood of the people in which they are in this mood of non-listening, or mood of telemarketer kind of a mood, like I'm gonna pitch whatever I got and I gotta perform perfect script. Or people, if they have come here to learn, they have come here for something very specific, to do an analysis on a competition or something very specific they have come there for, and they are not interested in anything else. So what you're really dealing with at the end of the day are the moods of the people. And of course your own mood, because I can see in the early time when I went to conferences and I did not get the response afterwards from the people. At first I was enthusiastic. I followed up with everybody and set up meetings, and sometimes even meetings happen, but the result is not as much as it should be. If you're extremely diligent and very, very disciplined, like my friend Rob, then perhaps there's a chance that you might have a solid lead. But it got me thinking that, why isn't this business happening more? Why don't you end up with a whole new launch of a business? Because what you're dealing with is moods. People's moods are resigned. They don't think anything new can happen. They think everyone is out to get favors from them, or get money from them, or get something out of them. They want to look for something too specific. And a whole bunch of moods like that, moods of closeness, moods of not paying attention, sleepwalking sometimes. You might even see, you go to conferences and people are sleepwalking. And of course there is the in the Western hemisphere, the conferences, the fair bit of drinking that happens at the parties that further dulls the senses and puts people at a vacation mode. Maybe some people do go to conferences to just have fun and relax and enjoy themselves, but then that's not what this is for. And so the main question is, how do we deal with moods? How do we perturb and change, we can say transform, the mood of the person that you're meeting? And how does that come to be? You have to change the whole scenery that they are seeing from the inside. You have to change the whole like a way of being, a game plan, the whole state of mind almost. And that begins with something shocking. It's better if it's pleasant shocking, but sometime a negative assessment, like an unpleasant shocking, but somehow you must perturb their nervous system to create the possibility of a new mood. And when you do that, then you have something new, unpredictable. Maybe they fight with you, and of course, so you need to have emotional fortitude. If you make a negative assessment, to open the space. Now, where do you want to go there? How do you want to manage your emotion, their emotion? And what is your offer, or more so, who are you as an offer? What are you concerned about? What is the invitation? What are you inviting them to pay attention to that is worth paying attention to? And this is the skill that, as I begin to build, I don't go to conferences very much, and if I do, it's a lot of fun and pleasure, and I often end up having a whole new book of business, because the conversations, the connection, it's authentic, because the authenticity is now settling in place, and it's something new is entering the space where you don't have to sell anything to them, but you must tune in deeply to their mood. Bring your listening in the way that even their mother, their partner have not listened to them in that way. That changes the mood. That's another way you can change the mood, is that you listen so intensely that the room shakes. And in this kind of a listening, something new can happen. But you must alter their current state by producing some event that is shocking to them. And yes, sometimes when you listen to people, it is shocking to them, because no one ever does. So, or you might make a negative assessment. Say, in my opinion, I disagree, and I think that you are blind to this, this, and this. But it must be authentic. You cannot just do it for theatrics. It must have some bridge to some new future that you invite them to investigate. And in that moment, a whole new set of possibilities that begin to appear. That also means that your own mood, that in which you're constantly living, if you're constantly living in a resigned mood yourself, then you will have problem doing something like this. You might perturb them or praise them and invite them to the same mood, so nothing happens. So what mood of curiosity and adventure in which you're living, then your job at conferences is to invite people to have the adventure and learn about their horizon. And it's better, it is the best actually to transform people into paid seafarers of the adventure, the paid passengers of your adventure, whatever adventure you're taking them on, with your software, with your service, with whatever you want to do with them or get a job with them, so on and so forth. It's the same thing. It is better, before you invite someone for such an adventure, even if you're seeking a job, seeking funding, seeking sales, that you first listen to what adventure they are already on. You listen in such a deeper way that the reality of their current perception, it begins to be obvious to you. Now you have the possibility of making a move, and if you've brought some listening to the table, you can produce a perturb and invite to a new adventure, or let it sit and remain in conversations. And the success of a conversation is the space it opens for the next conversation. That is all you must do. And in some moment, you will know to make an offer and do the sales. This, joined with Rob's discipline, I think could be a dangerous skill to have, a superpower to have, to raise funds, to sell, and to get the jobs that you want so much, or have the partnerships and whatever you're seeking. Okay, be well. Thank you. Bye-bye.